Hi, and welcome to Prepping Essentials. Good morning, it's 7 o'clock on Saturday the 27th of November. Just making my way down to the land, and as always, not quite sure what we're going to get done today, but let's find out. Well, here we are down on the land. You'll have to excuse me if this is a bit of a quick intro. I'm not going to be hanging around as I go across the field this morning. It's throwing it down with rain and blowing a gale. Weather's shocking. So I'll catch up with you shortly once I get inside the cabin and get opened up. Well, it's that time of year, so the fires had to go on this morning. Let it get sorted out and I'll catch up with you shortly. Well, the chickens are looking a bit raggedy this morning. But their neighbours' geese are kicking up a fuss as well. But they're busy pecking away. I'll go quickly check the coop, see what they've got in there for me this morning. Well, we need some lights this morning. It should be daylight now, but it's bloody dark. Plenty of mess to sort out in here. I'll get that done later when I've had my coffee. Got one in there, 2, 4, 6 in there. Empty. Just quickly check. One of them has a habit of just laying on the floor, but no, not today. Excellent. So let's have those picked up. It's cold and wet today. It's been a wild night. I'll tell you about it when I get back in the cabin. So there's 6 in there, plus a little stray in there. Excellent. Yeah, I'll top the food and water up shortly. Let me get in the cabin and get warmed up. Well, it's the weekend, and it's a bit of a wild weekend, I have to say. I certainly won't be doing very much outside this weekend. Oh, it's been really wild. I had to run across the field this morning to get out of the rain. It's thankfully eased off a lot. The wind hasn't though. The wind is still quite strong out there. It kind of comes and goes in gusts. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I hope you're staying safe and well and enjoying your weekend. Hopefully you're not having the same weather that we're having here in the UK right now. I've spoken about the weather a few times over recent weeks, indeed probably months now, saying that forecasters were predicting a cold, wild winter. I'm just listening now. It's trying to make its mind up whether it wants to continue raining or whether it wants to turn to snow. I've a bit to talk about today, so apologies, but I've made a few notes. I'm not sure if you'll hear that or not. It's nice that I've got this fire going. It's raised the temperature a lot inside the cabin. Fear not for the chickens. I did check while I was in there. Inside the coop it is quite nice and warm. Not so much outside in the pen, so I suspect they won't be loitering very long after they've cleared up all of that corn. I have got some greenery as usual on the bench over there in the corner, along with a little package which is connected with the chickens, but I'll talk about that briefly later. So weather. Storm Arwen landed yesterday in the UK, bringing heavy rain and winds with it. The winds up to 90 miles an hour. If you're on the coastal regions, particularly the northeast coast and up in Scotland, 10-metre waves there, causing quite a bit of chaos. Last night we actually had snow. Fortunately, I guess, the ground was too wet for it to settle, and it was kind of intermittent. It was switching between rain and snow, but at one point, about 9 o'clock last night, I did think I was going to wake up to a heavy covering of snow, but thankfully it was too wet and it melted. But on the way in this morning, all of the roads covered in rain, and because it's dark and it was still raining, it's very difficult to see where the puddles are, and quite a few of the back roads, it's quite deep, and bits of my body, shall we say, were twitching because you've got oncoming traffic, so you can't sit too close to the white line in the centre of the road. And a couple of times I hit some quite deep puddles, which, if you're a driver, you'll know that tries to pull you off the road. The winds haven't helped either, so there were quite a few fallen branches scattered around in various places on the road, and with it being dark and with oncoming traffic, it's a little bit difficult to get out of the way. So yeah, not a great trip in this morning. This is forecast through the weekend. So I don't know, I'm supposed to be travelling on Monday morning. They've already said that rail and ferry services have been disrupted, so I am due to go to London on Monday. Watch this space, I guess. I might not be. With the railways now predominantly been turned over to electric, the overhead rails or lines, quite often we get weather like this that interrupts the lines. Lines come down and the main rail network kind of grinds to a halt. So I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see. So weather, yeah, that's one thing to look out for sure. And I'll touch on that again a little bit later on. The economy. Anybody who pays attention to the economy will have noticed that yesterday global stock markets, all the stock markets and financial markets across the world took a major hit and dumped around about 4 to 5% in value. Literally instantly, in a matter of hours, as each market around the world opened, it was a cascade effect. So the first markets out in Asia to open, they dumped, which then led to a dump in Europe when they opened later in the day, which then led to a dump in America towards the end of yesterday, or time-wise here in the UK, it was the end of yesterday. Major dumps. UK market down around 4%. It dumped 72. Don't know if you can hear that, but that's the wind rattling the roof. Yeah, UK stock market lost 72 billion in a day yesterday. Also in the economy, there was news articles out yesterday about retailers massively increasing prices in anticipation of the Christmas buying season. They're wanting to take advantage. They're also trying to offset the increases in cost of production for them due to inflation going up. It's around 4.2% now in the UK and forecast to rise further as we go into the new year. So retailers banging up their prices. An article came out late yesterday saying that retail prices have gone up by the biggest jump this month in the last 10 years. So that's certainly going to have a knock-on effect as we go through the Christmas period and into the new year. I've kind of been talking about that for a while now and saying it's coming. Clearly now it's hitting the mainstream media because you can't hide it anymore. You can't say it's transitory. What is a bit more worrying, here in the UK, you might remember a couple of weeks ago we had a what they call the budget, where the government looks at its finances and makes tax and spend decisions, what it's going to do the end of this year and into next. Well, buried in amongst that budget, because it is just pages and pages and pages and pages of economic and financial data, but buried in amongst that was a report from the Office for Budget Responsibility, which is an independent part of government that looks at the economy and tries to predict what's going to happen and advises government on what it should be doing in terms of addressing any financial imbalance that it might see. Well, it put out a warning about interest rates on mortgages. Again, you might remember I've talked about that a few times over the last few months, saying that interest rates are due for a rise. They didn't rise last month. It's a monthly look at this. Every month the Bank of England looks at the rates and decides, are they going up or staying the same or going down? Well, it's impossible to take them any further down. They're at historic all-time ever lows. So going down isn't an option. They resisted the temptation to put them up last month. They've already leaked a couple of reports saying that they anticipate that they must go up in December by at least 0.25%. Doesn't sound like a lot, but if it's a monthly thing, it doesn't take long for that to rack up. And sure enough, Office for Budget Responsibility reported in the budget, it's only now, literally yesterday, come out into the kind of public domain and getting attention. They're warning that by 2023, so not next year but the year after, there will be a gradual rise in interest rates as we go into the new year, and that by 2023 they're forecasting 13% mortgage interest rates in 2023. Now that, if it happens, that's earth-shattering, game-changing. There are lots of people out there that have mortgaged to the hilt, and as equity levels have risen in their house, they've remortgaged, taken the cash, spent that. So if they're paying, I don't know what the average rate is now, if you're on a fixed term rate in the UK, you're probably getting 1.69, 1.79, less than 2%. So if that goes to 13%, wow, people are really going to feel that hit. So economy, not looking good as we go into Christmas and then, more worryingly, into the new year. So what caused the massive crash in the financial markets yesterday? Where's my tin hat? Here it is. Potentially there are a few reasons, but one of them is historic. Every winter time, around this time of year as we head towards Christmas, the big players in the markets generally generate a little bit of a dump in the market, so that they can come in and mop up prices of companies, the stocks and shares of companies, at a discounted rate, ready to make massive profits as the prices go back up again. Is that the reason? I don't know for sure, but it happens historically year on year. These people aren't rich for no reason. They play the markets to their own ends and kill the retail investors and the pension funds and potentially governments. by doing so. So I'm not saying it is that. You can make your own decisions by doing your own research. The narrative in the mainstream media is that the reason for the big dump, literally in a day, well, less than a day, in a matter of hours, was down to a new variant of COVID. COVID's been rumbling along, and we've talked about it a couple of times in recent videos as different variants have popped up. Media goes into overdrive always. A World Health Organization goes into overdrive always and tells us this is an end of the world virus now, it's mutated, it's out of control, it's going to kill everybody, and so on and so forth. You can again make your own decisions about whether or not that's true. But there is a new variant come out of South Africa. It's called Omicron. I don't know why they give them these sort of Greek tragedy names. Is that another scare tactic? I don't know. But anyway, new variant out of South Africa. It's called Omicron. And they're saying that that's what caused the dump in the markets. Everybody panicked. There were concerns about more supply chain issues, bigger concerns that governments might start going back into lockdowns again, and the impact that that would have on the world economy and the world markets. The World Health Organization, WHO, didn't help its declared concern, which in their words is start panicking. And a number of countries around the world have started panicking, and they've started imposing travel lockdowns just as we were getting out and starting to move around again. They've brought in international travel bans. UK, US and EU have imposed bans so far from a number of different African countries. Where's this going to go? It can kind of go in one of two ways, really. It can be discovered that actually it's just another variant, it's no different to the others, it's under control by using the vaccines or by tweaking the vaccine and giving a booster shot. I think Pfizer's already put out a report in the news media saying that within 100 days, if it was a major concern, they'd have a new vaccine available. On the other hand, it could go down in that it could prove to be more contagious, it could prove to be more threatening to life, and governments could react by imposing more lockdowns, more travel restrictions. Perhaps we're back to wearing masks again. Who really knows? Europe's already been in a panic over rising COVID rates. Austria's gone into full-blown countrywide lockdown. Germany, Holland, and a couple of other countries have started tweaking their restrictions. So again, it is something to keep an eye out, whatever your view on that particular health crisis. Oh, what else we got? There's so much stuff going on. I guess things that you need to watch out for. Yes, watch out for potential disruption to supply chain. Retailers, as I said earlier, are already expecting issues around Christmas and the New Year. This is a traditional time where everyone goes crazy. They're ordering endless presents for everybody. They're buying endless amounts of extra food that they don't normally buy. They're travelling more, so using more fuel for the vehicles. So, I hate to say it, but keep topping up your preps. And if you're not prepping, start prepping. These issues are not going to go away anytime soon. So watch out for issues in the global supply chain and availability of stuff. In terms of the economy, really do watch out for those potential interest rate rises. Here in the UK, Bank of England will look again in early December. Can't remember the exact date, but it is early, sort of second, third, whatever. And if they do put it up even by 0.25%, that's a massive warning indicator that things are going to get messy in terms of your personal finances. whether it's your mortgage loan that you have for your house, or whether it's your other forms of borrowing on your credit cards or other bank loans. People do hit the credit cards this time of the year. So I would urge people to think about the spending, plan for the future, think about the impact of interest rate rises on your borrowing, particularly your mortgage, and try and cut back on debt if you possibly can. The economy is extremely fragile, as we've seen yesterday by that massive dump. It doesn't take much to upset the markets, and we are overdue a bigger correction in the world markets. Well overdue actually, which is why I've been talking about it endlessly this year. In terms of weather, it is that time of year. Winter's definitely here. We've had a few days of frosts here in the UK. We've had our first real snow yesterday here in the UK. Predictions are for a bad winter or a worse winter than normal. So please do pay attention, heed those warnings, and try and plan for those. Think about things that can happen at winter. So mains grid power and utility supply disruption. We've already got tens of thousands of houses here in the UK without power as a result of this storm that came in yesterday. Again, the mains utilities, the system is fragile. It doesn't take much for it to drop out, and okay, whilst normally companies react quite quickly and you can generally get the power or the water back on in a matter of hours or days, wintertime it's not quite so easy to do that, so the power can be out for a lot longer. So think about things that you use or things that you can use in your home to provide an alternative source of electricity. If you use gas for your heating or your cooking, that's my roof rattling again. That wind really is strong today. Think about something, just a small little camping stove, something that would get you out of the shit if for some reason your power or your gas dropped out. So can you heat your home? Can you put lights on? Can you cook? It doesn't take a lot of time, effort or money to invest in something to provide you with that emergency backup should the mains utilities go out. Keeping yourself warm in the home. Winter clothing, I've mentioned that recently. Extra blankets or quilts for the bed. Whatever you can do to keep yourself warm. Even in a modern home, it's easy if you've got no mains power and no mains heating. It's easy to get cold enough for hypothermia to become an issue. People do travel a lot over the Christmas holiday period. So think about your car. Have extra fuel in cans on hand, just in case there is some kind of disruption or the weather prevents you from getting to the fuel station. Have cans so that you can top up your vehicles. More importantly, I guess, if you are travelling, have stuff in the vehicle in case you do get stuck, whether that's a flat tyre or whether that's the roads closed because of traffic jams, flooding or snow. If you get stuck out in the middle of nowhere in your vehicle, again, potentially you're at risk personally. It could be a long way home, or perhaps you can't even get out the car to get home. So have something in the car. I carry, you'll have seen in previous videos, an emergency get home bag. It's got extra clothing, it's got food and a means of cooking in there, it's got water and water filtration in there. It's got torches, knives, little folding saws in there, a whole variety of stuff to get me out of the deep duty if I'm stuck in the car, and to help me to get back home again. So have a think about what's in your car. This time of year, in my car, I've got one of those little folding shovels, just in case I need to dig myself out and get my car back on the road, or to dig through the snow, even just to get out of the drive, to get onto the main road. Roads should be gritted, but here in the UK, as we know, let me just close that because it's smoking a little bit. As we know, the roads quite often aren't gritted. So having something in the car to just help you get out of a bit of snow and ice and back on the road again, it might be a lifesaver. So think about things that you might need to prepare for winter, whether that's in the home or in the car. Anyway, that was a bit of a longer ramble than I thought it was going to be, but things that are important and things we should be paying attention to, particularly as we head into the winter season and through into the new year. So a range of different things there for you to have a little think about. Don't get too wrapped up and fearful. Focus on the things that you can change. Don't focus on things you can't. You personally can't do anything about this weather. You can just help prepare yourself to keep yourself safe and warm in it. Global financial markets, you individually can't do anything to change what happens in those. All you can do is try and keep your own personal finances in order. COVID-19, again, not much you can do to stop that. It's a nature event, but you can take precautions. You can, until we know what's happening with it, just take that little bit of extra precautions, keep it away from people, make sure that you have got a supply of face masks or coverings. And depending on where you are with the jab, you might or might not want to think about having that or having a booster if you've already had one. Do your own research, make your own decisions, but think about these things. If you do nothing else, just think about them and how they might impact on you and your way of life. You can do things to make improvements, you can do things to take care of yourselves, and so that when others around you are in a blind state of panic and suffering, the idea is that you're not and your family's not. So I'm going to get myself organised, got a couple of bits to do with the chickens. I want to just put some more wood on that fire and the door's open to the cabin, so I'm feeling the draft coming in. So let me get warmed up again. I didn't get much of that coffee, so I'm going to make another one. Chickens need their greenery, and I'll need to get back so I can get this edited and out in a timely manner, because as you know, it takes me forever with my internet connection to sort these things out. Wherever you are, wherever you're doing, please do stay safe and well. Have a little think about what you can do yourselves to be more prepared for whatever life might throw at you. And similarly, let me and everybody else that watches the channel, let us know what it is that you're thinking about, or it is that you're doing. Do appreciate all the comments that you put out into the channel. The weather, and talking about the weather and things we can do. Arwen the Bard, thank you for your comment. Hopefully I've given a few little ideas out there to get people thinking. I know that you're thinking about winter and winter weather, so thanks for your comment and prompting me to mention that in today's video. Enjoy your weekend. Again, happy Thanksgiving for those in the US. Look forward to Christmas with your friends and family. And of course, I'll catch up with you anyway in future videos as we go through towards the Christmas period. I'm going to finish this and make a fresh one. Enjoy your weekend. Well, I've got the fire back on, so that's good. It's surprising how quick the temperature drops. You just need feeding. I've got my eggs there. There might be a few more before I leave today. I've got the greenery for the chickens. I was going to plant a load of garlic today, but that's going to have to wait. I'm not going to do that because it's just shocking out there. But what I have got a little box, chicken related. It's that time of year, just a little bit of planning ahead. I've got feeders for food and water, you'll know that. But I am conscious that with it being winter time, I was talking earlier about potential for disruption for travel. So just on the off chance that I can't get down for a day or two for whatever reason, I thought there was a lid missing, but it's not. It's inside it's inside the actual feeder. Yeah, just in case I can't get down for whatever reason. I'm having a fight with this, trying to get the lid out. for whatever reason I can't get down for a few days, I'm going to put in certainly the extra food feeder. I'm not too worried about the water, to be honest, because they have got an ample supply of that out in the pen. I've got those 2 big barrels out there. There's a few hundred litres in those, so those plus the one inside. I might put this in just in case it freezes. I don't know, I'll think about it, but certainly the food. So I'm just planning ahead a little bit for the chickens, just in case I am delayed in getting down due to bad weather. I know that I'm going to have at least, with this one and the other one, I'm going to have at least a week's worth of food available to them inside the coop, irrespective of what I might come down and throw in as additional food when I do get down. So that came in the post yesterday, so I'm going to get those banged in there today, and I've got peace of mind then. I know that my little cheeky friends are going to be okay, even if I'm missing in action for a couple of days. Well, chickens have got the greenery, and as usual, little red one's hanging around. It knows if it just hangs around me, it'll get some hand-fed food. It's a bit too cold to be messing about out here though. They need to get this eaten up and then they can get inside the warm again. They were all hiding in the coop when I came. Watch my fingers. No, get this bit. Oh dear. Right, they're enjoying. That other little red one, the one that's just coming towards me now, it's getting bullied by the others. Come on over here, get some free feed. It's getting pecked. You know, they call it hen pecked. That one's looking a bit raggy. It's getting bullied by the others. So I do try and give it some separate from the others. Come on over here. It's not paying attention. This one's taking it all. Come on. Here we go. There we go. Alright, let me put this down here so this little one can get some. There we go. Right, fend for yourselves, chickens. I'm going to get your coop cleared out while you're busy out here. Get rid of all your mess. Well, that's the coop refreshed. Oh dear, it does take a bit of keeping on top of. I need to just empty that and clean it out, that water, by bringing in an extra one of these feeders. That's my empty bag of sawdust. So let me get that done, and then the chickens can get back in and get themselves warmed up. They're all busy out here picking around that greenery. Well, that's it for another day. Chickens have retreated inside the coop, and I can't say I blame them. These trees are moving a lot in this wind. It's a really strong wind. Thankfully, all the structures are fine, even the polytunnel, which does surprise me. That gate's somehow come open. Let me just fix that quickly. Hard to do one-handed, but there we go. Oh dear, yeah, everything's holding up well in what has been really strong winds. I've had a quick check around. Neighbours' structures all seem to be okay as well. So if you're watching, Gary, all is well. Yeah, so let me get myself back into the car and get myself off home. I will pop in again tomorrow, briefly. I've got a couple of jobs to do elsewhere, but I will call in on the way back just for a final check at the end of the weekend. But yeah, wild weather, it's here. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, hope you're staying safe and well. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll catch up with you again shortly. Well, that's it for this video. I hope there was something in there that was of interest to you. If you did like the video, please do click on the like button. Also feel free to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. As always, I welcome any comments, questions or suggestions you might have. What are you doing to plan ahead for particularly the new year? And what about all these little mini crises that keep popping up? It seems to be a regular event now. Every couple of weeks there's another crisis to worry about. Please don't worry, just plan and prepare so that you're in a much better place than everyone else to manage your own family circumstances as and when these little crises come up. But don't take your eye off the ball. A lot of these things will go into the new year and potentially grow much bigger and have a bigger impact. So please do think about these things and plan ahead. Whatever you are doing, please do let me know in the comments section below. Always appreciate your comments. But for now, thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.